Welcome everybody to today's live stream. So just waiting while the stream catches up, just so I can check that you can actually hear me. I think you can. I've never had an issue yet, but I always worry about it. Whilst we're waiting, we've got some hellos. So we've got Blondscales1, welcome to you from Arkansas. Simply Orbs coming to us from Atlanta. And then we've got John coming to us from New York. So a bit of a spread there around the States already. We'll just leave a few minutes for other people to come and join in, then we'll kick off. So yesterday, we had an absolutely world-ending catastrophe in this household. It was so bad, I just can't really describe how bad it was. The iron stopped working. My poor wife was absolutely bereft. She irons everything. She irons socks, underwear, tea towels. If it can be folded, if it can be ironed, she'll iron it. And her iron just stopped working, completely bust on her. Well, she just did not know what to do with herself. She was absolutely lost, and she was really, really upset about it because she loves her ironing. So we ended up yesterday with an emergency trip to a store over here called Harvey Norman. It's about 1.5 kilometres, about 1 mile from where I live. We had to do an emergency trip down there to buy her another iron because she just could not survive without her iron. So yeah, a bit of a catastrophe day. What type of catastrophes do you have? What things that will really need replacing quickly do you have? Why not drop it in the chat, or if you're watching afterwards, drop it in the comments. Let me just refresh this chat window. Let's see if we've got any more people joining us in here. So we've got hello back to John. We've got Jacob coming all the way from Sweden. Simply Orbs, yeah, you can hear me. Sometimes I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, people being able to hear me. And then we've got James from London. A little bit warmer there in London. I've got family who live on the outskirts of London. And when they called us last week, they were complaining about how cold it was. I think it was something like -3 one night. And, you know, he was saying that he's having to keep his heating on. I mean, the guy we were talking to, he's in his 80s. And he said, you know, he just couldn't go out because it was just so cold. So nice to see it's warming up a bit there now. Let's jump on in then to today's topic. Let me just set the screen up. So I'm heading on over to the YouTube community tab. We're going to look at the results of heat number 2 of the fountain pen tournament. So let's still scroll on down. So heat number 2, we've got 44 votes. And although it's showing 52% and 48%, that's not quite right because of the fact we've got only 44 votes. So if I head over to my spreadsheet, he says, let's get over to the thing. There's my spreadsheet. So here we've got heat number 2, the Hondian N8 and the Monteverde Ritmer. So 44 votes. As I say, it was showing 52%. Now, as I say, why this isn't valid, because there's so few, if I just put 50%, say, the number of votes doesn't change. It's still 22 and 22. So I'll put that back to what it was. Whoops. So that's 48. No, it wasn't. It was 52. And I've just screwed up my calculation. Let me just, there we go. That's the easiest way. 52. So, as I said with this one, it's going to be close. And it is close. You know, we've got a draw. We've got 22 votes for each pen. So, I get to make the decision. Which one is the winning pen? Is it the Hondian N8? N8? Is it the Hondian N8? Or is it the Monteverde Ritmer? This is such a close call because they're both very nice pens. The N8 is such a juicy writer. Very simplistic looks. You know, there's the nib. There's a medium nib. Cartridge converter. It's I need to clean it out. I finished it off during the week. Very simplistic. Does feel a little bit on the thin side from time to time. But nice pen. The Ritmer, quite a weighty pen, a chunky pen. Nice size. I love this pop. I'm going to have to do this here to the mic. I love the pop when that comes off. And little things please little minds, don't they? A very nice writer again. Broad nib on this one. This one does have some ink in it. I'm not sure which one I would go for. There we are. Nice fit in the hand. I think if pushed, which I am obviously being pushed, I'm going to call the winner here. When I do my normal videos, I edit this thinking bit out because, I can do. But doing it live, I'm going to call it the Monteverde Ritmer. I'm going to say that's the one that's going to go through to the next round. Such a close call, though, this one. As I say, they were very, very close. The only thing with the Ritmer at the moment, I don't actually like the ink that I've got in here. It's a bit on the light side. It's not too bad, though. Works not too bad in a broad nib. I might change the nib before I record. No, I might change the ink though before I record the semi-final, because I don't think this ink is doing this pen any justice. I really don't. So then we've got the winner, the the Monteverde Ritmer. I say it was very close, and I couldn't call this one. So now we've got a winner. Let me close that down. So let's head back on to the comments. Let me just refresh them again. Press the right buttons, Garry. BJ, welcome to you. How many people have we got on at the moment? This is one of the nice things here. We've got 13 people viewing at the moment. Welcome to everybody. Blonde Scales won. They didn't have no earth-shattering crisis like that there this week. And did you get was it your heating that was not working? I know there was somebody whose heating wasn't working and it was getting really, really cold. John, a hairdryer could probably function as a backup iron. Yeah, but not with my wife. I'll tell you, I don't know what it is. Literally everything gets ironed. You can tell if I'm doing the ironing because the way I do it, if you can't see it, you don't iron it. T-shirts, you hang T-shirts up on a thing, all the creases drop out, they don't need ironing. Shorts, hang them up, they don't need ironing. Socks definitely don't need ironing. But not according to my wife, literally everything. Simply Orbs, drum roll. Actually, I'll have to see if I can get a drum roll sound from somewhere. Let me make a note of that. See if I can get that as a sound effect and then play that through OBS. I'll have a look at that. Oh, don't know what's just happened there. That's better. Ricardo, good morning from London. So a couple of people here from London. Ricardo put a really interesting Instagram post up the other day. Let me see if I can get it up here. Not sure if I'm signed into Instagram on my Mac. I may just have to sign in. Yeah, let me just sign in. 1 second. Instagram, log in. Hopefully it doesn't need me to do anything on my phone because I can't get to it. Just signing in now. Let's see if I can get to this post. Not now. Not now. Right, so how do I find a person? Ricardo. I think it's this one. And here we have it. So let me go back to the screen. So he did a really interesting post here. He's fully dismantled his Lamy 2000 when he was going to clean it. And he took a photo of all the pieces. I think if I did that, I think I'd never get back together again. I've got to be honest. So I just thought, he sent this to me. I thought, well, I'd share it to everybody here. Let me go back to the camera. So that was quite I found that quite an interesting post. That I'm still planning on getting a Lamy 2000. Haven't ordered it yet. I've got a couple of other pens on the way at the moment. So I want to wait till I've received those before I order it. Otherwise, I end up with too many new pens. So I have got 2 pens coming. They're both now in the post. One of them is from Just Turnings, who's a maker over in Brisbane here in Australia. I've got a couple of his pens, so I've got another one on the way. Ordered it because when I saw the picture, I loved the material. It's been material I've been looking for quite a while, and finally he actually got one of the blanks in, so I thought, yeah, let's jump and get that. So hopefully I'll be able to give a quick show of that next week. Should hopefully be here by then. The other one is a pen I ordered back at the start of, or middle of December, from Cult Pens in the UK. They've now got it back in stock, and they posted it out yesterday. Yesterday, Friday. So hopefully, I'm hoping it'll arrive during this week. If not, it'll be the following week. That's my Grail pen, the Visconti Homo Sapiens Dark Age. Been eyeing that pen up for years and years and years. So very, very looking forward to getting that. Blonde Scales 1, yeah, we should have put a vote on here. I didn't think about that. So unfortunately, yeah, that's already done now. Jacob, the Ritma looks nicer. I do think, I've got to be honest, I'm with you there. I do think the Ritma does look nicer. With the N8, I know it sounds silly, but I don't like this silver inlay of the Flying Feathers. I like the rest of it though. Simply Orbs, it is a very satisfying snap, sure is. Blonde Scales 1, I've got a Ritma on the way, should have it next week. Oh, brilliant. I will be honest, I do like the Ritma. It was suggested to me by one of my regular viewers, Paul. Took me a while to get it, but when I eventually bought it, this was, I think, the 2021 limited edition colour. It's called Olive. Very nice though. I was looking at the this year's limited editions, but I just haven't been able to really get there with it. John, agree with the Ritma. Tom Morley, welcome to you, Tom. Good evening from... yeah, this is, again, beauty of time zones, isn't it? For me, it's the 28th. For some, it's the 27th. I just love the way that time zones work. Was it, I don't know how long ago, Leo Laporte on the Twit network, they did a New Year thing where they welcomed in the New Year for every time zone around the world. And like here in Australia, some of the states where they've got a few, we've got 3, I can't remember if it's something like 4 or 5 different time zones, and one of them, it's out by 15 minutes from us, and others are out by half an hour. The East Coast, that's out by an hour, and then like here, even like things like daylight savings, Western Australia, we don't have daylight savings, so our clocks never change it, whereas over on the East Coast, in New South Wales and Victoria, and I think South Australia, they do, but Queensland doesn't. It's really weird how it goes here. Simply Orbs, hello to Tom Morley. Ricardo, congratulations to the Ritma. Let me go up. I don't know what I'm doing with my computer today. I can't get it to scroll. Why aren't you scrolling? Let me refresh this screen again. Tom Morley, hello to Simply Orbs. Blonde Scales 1. Yeah, that was back in December. Nice and warm inside now. I bet you're glad of that. I mean, I don't know about in the US, but I always felt in the UK, late January, early February, they seem to be the coldest time. Today's mug, I didn't show it, this is my Batman mug. There we go. We've got the Dark Knight there himself. Peppermint tea today I'm drinking. Will Hodge, hello to everyone. Ricardo, exploded view of a Lamy 2000. Absolutely. Simply Orbs, that's fantastic. Do you know, I hate Google Chrome, but unfortunately it's the only thing that works with OBS. My Safari is my browser of choice, which is what I was using when I was showing the web pages earlier. But for OBS, I have to use Chrome. Oh, I hate it. Simply Orbs, that's fantastic. Ricardo, thanks. Garry, do you have any grey silver inks that come to mind as a must-try? My go-to grey ink is Diamine Earl Grey. Absolutely love it. I haven't had it in a pen for a while. I need to get that into it. I wonder if that's maybe... I was trying to work out what ink to put in the Homo sapiens when it arrives. I wonder if Earl Grey might be a choice for that. I was going to go for green ink, but yeah, maybe Earl Grey. What colour ink do you think I should put into that Dark Ages? You know, maybe if I think next week... what I might do is maybe for next week I might come up with a number of different inks that I like and then create a poll. I'm not sure on YouTube. I think there's only a limit of 5 inks that you can put into a poll, or 5 things you can put into a poll. So I may make, you know, a number of... I might actually start with 5, so I've got 25 inks to start with. Ask people to pick them, give it a couple of days, and then take the winner from each into the final. That might be a way of doing it. It'd be quite interesting, that, you know, essentially viewers' choice for inks. You know, I've got that many inks, so that might be worth trying. I've made a note to look into that. So yeah, Diamine Earl Grey. Not really tried many others in the ways of silver, apart from really the ones that come in the Inkvent calendars. Was it? I quite liked Ghost. That was quite nice. But I say I tend to go for Earl Grey. Simply Orbs. I have wondered about ultrasonic cleaners. I love my ultrasonic cleaner. So it's sat by the sink. Don't put everything through it. So like this afternoon I'll be cleaning this out and a number of other pens. And what I'll do is, chances are this one, because it... Good job I remembered I was live and I didn't use any rude words then. It looks like there's some staining in here. So what I may do is fill this with water and actually just run the converter part through the ultrasonic. Things that I do put through the ultrasonic are where I've had a shimmer ink or an ink that looks like it's really stained. What I will do is, where possible, pull out the nib and feed. I'm not going to pull this out. And put the nib and the feed through it. I know technically I wouldn't need to do the nib. In fact, I should stop doing the nibs because the ultrasonic can damage gold plating. But certainly I put the feed through it just to give it a chance to get really deep into there and hopefully get rid of any shimmer particles. Converters, put converters through quite a bit. Like the Twisby Eco, I've got this sat here, which is why I'm showing it. Again, unless it was really stained, I wouldn't put that through. So yeah, I really just use it for deep cleaning. The thing I use it for most is these, my glasses and my wife's glasses. Let me just put this down here a bit. I do tend to use them more for cleaning them because it gives them a really good clean. Thing with ultrasonic cleaners, don't use hot water, use cold water. I've seen people say use warm. No, use cold water, especially for doing pens. As the water gets, as the ultrasonic waves travel through the water, they actually do heat the water up, so it'll come out warm. So start with cold water. You don't need hot water in there. You don't need any chemicals. I know I've seen some people say they put a drop of dishwashing detergent. I don't bother with that, just plain tap water. But yeah, I love my ultrasonic. And so does BJ. BJ loves the ultrasonic. Let me do this again. This has been really playing me up today. BJ, I just have a cheaper one and it works fine. Yep, mine's a cheap one, came from Aldi. And there's a big thing on the Fountain Pens Australia Facebook group today because Aldi have got them in again. I've had mine a couple of years now, but really are worthwhile. You know, you can get them, I think, about I don't know, I'm going to say about 30-ish Aussie dollars. But very versatile. You can clean jewellery in there. I don't clean my jewellery. I say my glasses, my pens. I would say it gets used maybe once every couple of weeks. Simply Orbs, BJ, thank you so much for letting me know. Blonde Scales 1, it's the new brown Ritmer with the Omniflex nib. Yeah, it's that brown one that I've been looking at. I quite like the look of that. I'd say not sure. I might wait till later in the year. BJ, I've considered that combination myself. James, I've heard you mention... Let me just refresh this. I've heard you mention Woolworths a few times, which is a throwback to my 90s childhood. And of course, Woolworths UK closed down in 2009. Do you still have it in Australia? Yeah, when we lived in the UK, we were very frequent shoppers at Woolworths. It was just that store you could go to get everything. It was only a couple of years after we left the UK that they closed down. Woolworths here is very, very different. So Woolworths here is like, it's one of the two main supermarket chains, the other one being Coles. And I'm trying to think, it's like Tesco's, but not as big. So over here, the laws here are a bit daft. So in the UK, you go to your supermarket, you can get your beer, your wine and everything. They're all in the supermarket. Over here, they're not. They're actually stored in a separate store. So Woolworths has got a couple of liquor chains. One's called BWS, the other one's called Dan Murphy's. Coles is the supermarket, and the Liquor Land is their liquor shops, and I think it's First Choice, something like that as well. So yeah, Woolworths here, it's actually the supermarket. So the two main ones, Woolworths and Coles. I'm guessing if you go back far enough in time, there would have been some link between them, between Woolworths here, I think in the US, the UK, Germany, all over. When we've been to South Africa, there's Woolworths in South Africa. And the Woolworths in South Africa, I would say, is more like Marks and Spencer's in the UK. But yeah, Woolies so we're actually going to Woolies after this live stream for our weekly shop. Blonde Scales 1, I'm branching out into different nibs other than fine. Awesome. I think it's brilliant to experiment. When I got back into fountain pens about 3.5 years ago now, I started off with a medium nib and then moved more towards a fine. But over time, certainly my view, well, not so much my view, through experimentation, I'm now more using broad, and I'm getting quite into 1.1 stubs as well, really liking the stub nibs. But definitely, if I was asked to choose a pen, my go-to would be a broad. One of the pens I've got coming, the Just Turnings one, has got a brand new nib manufacturer to me, Mr. Cypress nib on it, and that I asked for that in a broad, so it'll be interesting to see what that's like. Question, what are your thoughts on 21k nibs? I find my 21k nib Sailor Pro Gear feels kind of thin. I worry I'm going to spring it. So I don't have any 21k nibs. I've got plenty, here's my custom 823. I've got plenty of 14k. Got a couple of 18k nibs, mainly on the Waterman Karen, and I think there was another with an 18k on. Might just even be the Waterman Karen. I've got a Sailor Pro Gear Slim, which is 14k. Where is it? There we go. Sailor Pro Gear Slim. There we go. Blue Green Nebula. Got this out because I'm recording a video with it tomorrow. Let me just grab my loop just to check. Yeah, that's a 14k nib. So I'm not going through experience here. I'm just going through what I've heard from other people saying. Let me just pop that back. So the 21k nibs, because it's got more gold in it, they are softer, they are springier. So yeah, I would be very similar to what you're saying there. I think I'd be quite worried about springing it. I tend to have a little bit of a heavy hand, which you may have noticed in some of my writing. So that's why I'm a bit dubious about getting something like a 21K nib. The 21K, that's all to do with the amount of gold that's in it. I can't remember what the percentage is. So yeah, no, I'd be with you. I don't have one. Would I like to get one? Yes, eventually I would. I'd love to get a Pro Gear, ideally King of Pen because of the size, but I wouldn't mind trying just a normal Pro Gear. I like the Pro Gear Slim, just a little bit on the small side for me. BJ, I knew he was going to say Earl Grey, yeah. If you've watched my videos for long enough, you'll know that I've used Earl Grey quite a lot. BJ, Earl Grey and Lexicon Grey have gotten to me looking for a new grey. Pelican Edelstein Moonstone is a nice one. And Tom Morley, Diamine Graphite is a nice grey. Yeah, I've seen Penultimate Dave. He was very much into the Earl Grey, but quite a few of his videos now he's being used in Diamine Graphite as well. I will say I do quite like Ghost. I thought that was quite nice as well. BJ, I put 1 drop of Dawn dishwashing liquid into my ultrasonic. Yeah, would work. Would get. Only thing if you're going to do that, and it was actually on the Goulet. Was it the Goulet Pencast this week, or was it on one of their videos? It might have even been on one of their TikTokies, where he was saying if you're going to do that, make sure you finish off with clean water. BJ, I love my stubs. Yeah, I say I'm getting quite into them. Have I got a stub nib handy? Yeah, here's a stub nib. I'll be showing you this in a few seconds. This is a Taveco Sport. This has got the 1.1 stub. Actually, a very nice stub nib, this. Just pop that back. Also got a Taveco Sport calligraphy set to play with. Oh, that'd be interesting. I've never got into calligraphy. It's me. I don't have the patience for it. When I'm writing, I want to get the thoughts out of my head. Whereas I think with calligraphy, you've got to be more intentional about what you're writing because it takes that little bit longer. This is something Miss Marilyn Darling could really chirp in on. But yeah, I don't know. It's not been anything which has really jumped at me. BJ, broads not so much anymore. Extra fine, fine, and stubs. You know, it's quite a bit of there's a big range there, isn't there, from that extra fine up to the stub, and it's interesting the differences you can get. Let me have a look at today's pens. No, most of those are broad that I'll be writing with today. And I'm pulling this one out. This one is, I believe it might be labelled as medium, but it's more like a fine nib. This is a Crossbeardy Light. Oh, another interesting pen. BJ, I had to tune my Taveco stubs to get them to run right. I was lucky. Mine, straight out the box, perfect, wrote really well. Tom Morley, brilliant. Thanks for this. 24K is 100% gold. 12K is 50% gold, and then that graduates between them. I believe, let's not believe, let's have another look. Do you know, just pop this away now. I'm getting it out again. Can't get my face close enough. So 585, 58.5% gold in a 14K nib. That's the 5K 585. Now, from what I remember is 14K, that's like the British and the English type 1. Also used like in the States and over here. Whereas the 585, I think because that's the percentage, I think that's more of a European thing. I might be wrong with that, though. Again, working from memory. Just pop that over there. Blonde Scales 1, the set was cheaper from Colt Pens than it was from Van Ness. Isn't that the stupid thing? How, you know, getting something from overseas can be so much cheaper. Even with exchange rates at the moment, it can be so much cheaper. And that's why it's worth looking around all these online shops. Whenever I'm looking for a pen now, I go through them all. And where possible, I obviously focus on one which has got free shipping. Yeah, free shipping, always good. And that's why I've got so many diamine inks, because I used to buy things from Cult Pens. Then you would add in some inks to get it over that free shipping level. I know that tight ass Garry there, isn't it? Let me refresh. Jacob, I use a Pilot Parallels 3.0 and 6.0 for calligraphy. Yeah, I've got some parallels. Let me just grab a different box. So what have I got? I've got the green one, which is... Old man eyes can't read this. I've got the green one. That's 3.8. I've got the yellow one. This one is 2.4. Then I've got another couple of different sizes, but the wife's got them. I've got boxes all over the place, but I can reach everything. That's why I've set my desk up as it is. And I'm going to do it as desk setup video at some time. Everything is just out of reach, so I have to move. So that means I'm moving all the time. But everything's close enough, and I've organised it in a way which is logical for my brain, that I can easily get to anything. Blonde Scales 1. I won't necessarily be using it for calligraphy, just wanted the different nib sizes. Awesome. You know, it's a nice way to play around, to learn. It's one of the sort of things I love. Simply Orbs. I started and extra fine all the time. Now I kind of branching into medium and stubs. Yeah, amazing how over time that you can actually, your tastes change. Blonde Scales 1, very similar to me. Try and hit the free shipping threshold wherever possible. Yeah, I say that's why I've got so many inks. I used to buy a lot of notepads from Cult Pens as well, but they've stopped doing the black and red notebooks, so I can't add them in anymore. All right, let's swap on over. Have a quick mouthful of tea, and we'll look at the pens I've been using this week. Some of these are empty. Some of them have still got a teeny bit of ink in, but no idea if it'll write or not. So the first one, this is one I've cleaned out. This one is definitely empty. This is the one that I used for my response to my quotes last week. This is the That Pen Bloke fountain pen. Beautiful pen. Handmade pen here in Australia. He's just relocating at the moment, so as soon as he's back up and running, I'll be saving for another pen from him. This is such a nice pen. Nice, sizable pen. Nice width, comfortable to use. So the pen I've used for the rest of the week for my response to the quotes. This is Pens by Casey, Mokuzai 13. In here, got a 1.1 Yoho stub nib. Not a lot of ink in here, so you can see there. Maybe got enough for another 1, possibly 2 days. So this pen is made from wood. I asked to have a gloss finish because I think it looks nice in this gloss finish. This is an Australian wood, grows, and I've said this before, only about half an hour's drive from here you can actually go and actually see the trees. So it's a local wood. So I thought, yeah, it's very nice. And it's York Burl or York Gum. Where I lived in the UK before we moved over here, it was not far from York. So again, you know, and I come from Yorkshire. So again, all adds up to make a little bit of personal connection. The section, and it's even lined, is all ebonite. So this is Pens by Casey. Love the way this writes. Let me just try and move this mic a bit. So it's the Mock. Every time I write this name, I have to check. Mokai 13. It's a 1.1 stub nib. So 13 is to do with the width. So it's 13 millimeters. It's not a cheap pen. You're looking 400 Aussie dollars. I got to be honest, it's worth it. It's beautiful. It's handmade. You know, it's made from wood. You're going to struggle to find anything which looks like this. The ink is by Robert Toster. And it's Aussie Brown. You know, nice Australian ink. It's been nice using it this week. Friday was Australia Day. which is a public day here. So I thought, yeah, Australian pen, Australian ink, and I used that on Australia Day. My next pen that I've used, this one again has been cleaned out. This is the Opus 88 Colora Blue and Teal. So I can actually show you this time to fill it. You unscrew the section and then eyedropper it down here. I've got this valve open. I can actually hopefully, I don't know if you can see it going up, but as I close it, that valve comes up. That would then shut off the section from the body. What I do though with my pens like this, I leave that valve open when it's empty, just so I've got airflow going around the whole pen. Occasionally I'll put a little bit of silicone grease when I'm filling it, just to help with that seal. And this one's got a broad nib. I think the rest of the pens we should be able to write with. Next up, the little baby, the Pelican M205 in blue marble. Small and thin. So this is the Pelican M205. Broad nibbed. Price wise, $199. The ink is by Pure Pens, Celtic Sea. Celtic Sea. Garry can't spell. Pure Pens is a Welsh company. Do some interesting inks. Sorry, my poor throat's starting to go already. Next up, we've got a Japanese pen, a fairly inexpensive Japanese pen. I actually bought this off AliExpress. This is the Natami Inception. You'll see more of this during the week when I do my pens in use for February, because it's part of my pens in use February selection. I like the way that the body's faceted on this, and it's nice and transparent. So you can see it's got a cartridge converter. Here we've got the nib there. This is a fine nib. So we've got the Natami Inception with a fine nib. It's a steel nib. Price wise, 26 Aussie dollars. Quite affordable. The ink is by Diamine and it's Eau de Nil. Quite an unusual bluey colour there. I think it does quite well. We're going to jump now. Let me just move this up a wee bit. Now jump to China, to the Mahjong P136 piston filling pen. Little tiny slits there which act as ink windows. I find it very hard to actually see what's going on though, so not overly useful to me. Nice fit in the hand, nice shape, nice classic shape, nice nib as well. This one is another fine nib. So we've got the Moonman, or Mahjong, P136, with a fine nib. Price wise, 37 Aussie dollars. And then the ink is by Herban, Eclat de Saphir. Nice, like sapphire blue ink there. Mahjong P136. The one that I pulled out very quickly to show earlier, this is the Kaweco Sport in coconut. There's Kaweco Sport. This is one of the things which, very personal, annoys me. I tend to hold my pens this way, but that means that writing is upside down. So to see it the right way, I've got to turn it around, and this doesn't seem or feel a natural way to hold this pen. I'd much prefer that if it was the other way around, so I could hold it like this. I'm being very picky. Now this pen does come with a cartridge. You can buy a converter, but I've decided to ink dropper it. First time I've tried it, it's worked really well. Not sure if you can see there, not a lot of ink left in here. Just giving it a little bit of a shake. It's a pocket pen, you know, when it's posted, beautiful. So we've got here a Kaweco Sport with a 1.1 stub nib. Price wise, $41. I think these are really good value. The ink is by Robert Hoster, and it's gold grun, not grun gold, which is what I put during the week. Now this has got a very nice gold shimmer to it. Let's see if we can get that to show through. I do like my Kaweco Sports. I've normally got one of these inked up all the time. Let me switch this up to the camera. Hopefully I can capture this so you can see some of that gold shimmer. But loads of it. Every single letter has got gold shimmer coming through from it. Or certainly to my eye. I haven't got a metal version yet. I do want to try one of the metal versions. But it's like everything else. So many pens, so little money. I'm going to put this here. The next pen is a complete contrast. In fact, I'll put it like that because I don't even know if it'll fit in. It won't. The next pen, the Ranga Model 5. The Kaweco Sport, nearly the same length there as, nearly half the length. I love this Model 5. Such a big pen, such a comfortable pen to use. Very wide section. Now this has got a number 6 size nib. I believe you can now get them with number 8 nibs. And if I do eventually get another one, this is a resin. I'd like to try an ebonite version. I may then look at getting a number 8 nib. I think a number 8 nib would really suit this pen. This is another one, comes with a converter. There's the converter. This is nearly empty. Now this was virtually a full fill when I started. And on Thursday, this was my pen for Thursday. I enjoy writing with it so much. I just kept writing and writing and writing, and I wrote out the entire converter. So hopefully there'll be enough in here for my little test. Then this one will be getting cleaned out. So we've got here a Ranga Model 5 with a broad nib. Price wise, yes, we do take a jump in price. You're looking $142-ish, maybe a bit more than that now. The ink in here is by Robert Hoster. And it's Ride Green. Oh, sorry about that. Nice bright green ink. Bit of a funny story how I ended up with this ink. A couple of years ago, which is when I got this, my wife, she wanted some nice green inks to write in Christmas cards. So we went through loads of samples. We got a sample of this. We liked it, so we ordered the bottle. She's never used it since then. So I inherited the bottle from her. My next pen, this was yesterday's, is another pocket-ish pen. This is the Pilot E95S. Gold nibbed pen. This is a 14 karat gold nib. Another pen, very nice when it's posted. I use a cartridge in here, and all I do is I just fill that cartridge with whatever ink. It did come with a converter. It was a Con 40. I just find the Con 40 absolutely useless in here. I can't see the ink level, and I like to be able to see what my ink levels are. So this is a Pilot E95S, medium nib, and it's 14 karat AU, so it's gold. Price wise, 195 Aussie dollars. The ink by Lamy, part of the Crystal series, and it's topaz. Nice brown ink there in that. This is the last of a sample that I've got of it. Then finally, today's pen, Bennu Talisman. So this was a pen I was using mainly during December, during the Christmas period. So I'm trying to write this out. It's got that steel nib made by Schmidt. Very nice nib. And another one virtually out of ink. So again, hopefully there'll be enough in here to do our writing sample. So we've got here a Bennu Talisman. Broad nib. Love this nib. Beautiful feedback on it. This was, how much is this pen? I've got absolutely no idea. I'm going to put a question mark whilst I just go and check that. What can I check it against? I know what I can check it against. Here's my pens and use book. Oh, got a sneak peek there of the stores for last month. So the Bendu Talisman, $230. So 230 Aussie dollars. And the ink, it's by Diamine. It's Best Wishes. Another nice ink. We've got some sheening coming through. Got a nice red sheen. Then occasionally you do get hints of a blue shimmer, but I do struggle with this ink to see that. So they're the pens that I've been using this week. We swap on over to the other one and refresh, and we can go back to the comments. Let me just refresh the chat window. BJ looks like Burlwood. Absolutely, it is. It's called York Burl, or which is a type of eucalyptus. Simply Orbs. I have the Kaveco Steel. It's amazing. Yeah, absolutely love my Kavecos. I say I've got that one. I've got the green one, which has got, I think it's a broad nib in. I can't 100% remember. I've got a double broad nib, which is actually in my Parker Jotter. I say I want to get some more, but it's like all the pens now. I only really buy pens that grab me or have some kind of meaning to it, which I can relate to. Blonde Scales 1. I think my preppy hoard is still bigger than my sport gang. Yeah, I've got two preppies as well. Well, I haven't. I've actually got 4. I've got the 03 and the 05, so that's, I think, the extra fine and fine. I think it might be fine and medium, but they're both quite fine fines. And then I've got another 2 which I've got inked up, and I've had it inked up for about 3 years, but they've got the highlighter nibs, so I can use them as highlighters, but I don't use highlighters very often. I think I might need to try and play around with that a bit more. BJ, didn't like my Kaveco Sport at first. Now I won't leave the house without my brass Sport. Yeah, that's one of the downsides with these ones. They are very light. That's why I want to try one of the metal ones. I do like the look of the brass one. I like the look of the copper one as well. Simply Orbs, that's a nice green. The Robert Oster Ride green. It is. It's quite nice. I don't use it very often. Let me make a note. Ride green ink. I've just made a note to do an ink comparison video. So I can't remember if it's the first or second week of each month I release an ink comparison video. So I've just made a note. I've already filmed the one for February, but maybe for March I might try and do Ride green and another green. Maybe not a Diamond green. I've got Irishizuku, Shinryoku. They actually might be worth doing a comparison between them two. So I've just made a note of that. BJ, the brass Sport for daily use or brass traveller's pens if I'm dressing fancy. Isn't it amazing how you want different types of pens for depending where you're going? Ricardo, talking about nibs, I liked my Platinum 3776 that I now have 6 of them. Wow! Each with different nibs, from a music nib down to a soft fine. I have been eyeing up a 3776 with a music nib. I do want to give it a bash, but then again, I want to get that Lamy 2000. I've just ordered another handmade pen. I want some more handmade pens. Really hard sometimes to decide what to get when I get my YouTube money. What I do each month is I try to use whatever I get from YouTube and buy another pen. Sometimes I might bank it up for a couple of months if I want a more expensive one. But most of the pens now on this channel that you see do come with money from YouTube. Blonde Scales 1. I've only got one AL Sport, the purple exclusive from Gold Spot. I say I want to get more. It's just I liked this one, the coconut. I thought that was nice, a slight transparency. The first one I got was the green one. I like green, so that's why I got that one. And yeah, it's now a case of just seeing if something really grabs me. BJ, that sounds fantastic, that brass sport. I'd be interested in things like I've got with my Abraham Lincoln Retro 51, how things like brass and copper pens, how they go over time as they start tarnishing, how they tarnish, and because I think, to me, especially with the metal pens, that's where you start getting the character and the interest in it. Ricardo, that's similar to what I have, the Platinum 3776. Blonde Scales 1, thanks for this. 03 is fine, 05 is medium. I do navigate more towards the 05 when I use my Preppy. It's actually inked up, it's constantly inked up because that's my sacrificial pen with black ink in it. So if I need black ink, it's in the Preppy. BJ, mine is on almost black now with an underlying brass shine. Love the way my brass pens age. So yeah, that's answering that question I asked earlier. How do they age? Ricardo, still want to get one with an ultra extra fine nib. Wow, that would be fine. I don't think I'd ever. If I had something that fine, I don't know if I'd ever use it. I say at the moment I'm tending towards them broader nibs. Right, let's switch the screen. We caught up with the comments. Let me get the right thing up on the screen. Oops, pressed the wrong button. Okay, then we can, oh no, that's the iPhone. We want the screen, don't we? So last week's videos, I can sit back a second here whilst I read. So on Sunday of last week, we had Heat 2, the one we've just decided the winning pen. And in case you just joined us, we've decided the winning pen is the Monteverde Ritma. Tuesday, the video I had on Tuesday was looking at this, and I'm down here in the corner. This is the Leuchtturm 1917 copper notepad. I'm going to be honest with you. The video on this is one of the best performing videos I've had. When I checked it on Thursday, 2 days after it released, it had 1,500 views. Most of my videos after 2 days might have 300-400 views. So I'm absolutely amazed with that. Absolutely gobsmacked how well it went. Friday's video, let me just grab that here. I did a showdown between two Pilot gold nibbed pens, these two here. The Pilot E95S and the Pilot Custom 823. Both pens that I love. Why I did this is part of a little series that's going to happen over the next few weeks, where I'm taking a look at a number of different pocket-sized pens or smaller pens and comparing them against each other. Sorry. And, this week we're looking at this. This will be also appearing again over the next few weeks because, I'm going to look at different combinations and how they compare. Yesterday, over on Tricky Little Questions, we had our photo quiz. Hopefully people enjoyed that. And then also yesterday on my Next Actions channel, which is my personal productivity channel, the smallest of my 3 channels, I released a video, just a short video, about the importance of small actions. So this is where I was wrapping up Q4 of last year. I don't do it at the end of the quarter, I do it about a month afterwards. Mainly because I don't want to coincide with New Year, because New Year, everybody's doing something new. And I thought, go for a month later. By then people's resolutions, they've either got settled into it or they've dropped off. So this was, I said, the importance of small actions, and it's looking at one of the best ways I think to be productive isn't to do anything big, it's to work only on small things. But do a lot of small things and you get the big result. So it's about stopping what you're doing, thinking about what you're doing, breaking it down into a whole series, and I'm talking not just one action, but a whole series of smaller actions which you can easily achieve. And then, I say, the combination of doing maybe 50 small actions delivers a big result that you at first thought, well, I'll never be able to do that. So that was that video. Next week's video. So today we've got tournament heat number 3, and in that the 2 pens are the Crossbeardy Light and the Twisby Eco. 2 pens very similar-ish in price, very different styling, very different performance as well. So that's going to be coming up this afternoon. If you remember, you've already had access to that since Friday. So one of the benefits for members is for the vast majority of my videos, they get access 2 days early. So later on today, I'll be giving them access to Tuesday's video. Tuesday's video is my wrap-up of 2020 of January. So how did I go with January's pens? Which ones were the winners? Friday, that will be looking at February's pens in use. The theme for February, every quarter, use me up. So the idea is to take all my pens that I've got inked up and write them out. The aim, not to fill or refill any pen. So as you can see from this selection, you can see that some of these have already been written out. So there's two pens that will be going forward to be cleaned. And then I've got another couple which are getting very close already. Saturday's video, tricky little questions. This is answering a viewer question. It isn't showing the full word. I'm a bit annoyed about that. Maybe I didn't type it. Let me just check. I didn't type it. Let me just add that in. There you are, live editing. And then what I'll have to do is drag this down. Oh, I had, it's just I hadn't made the text big enough. And let's go back to playing. There we go. Why is there no centre of the universe? This is a really interesting one, a bit of a mind-bending video. Because you'd think that the universe has got a centre, but it hasn't. But it has. And not only has it one centre, it's got loads of centres. So yeah, quite an interesting video to research that one. Book of the week, so I'm still working my way through Chainfire. I've got about 120 pages left, so if it's following the normal pattern with Terry Goodkind books, all the action's going to now start happening. What's been interesting with this one is the way that the main character, Richard, who's like the main character throughout most of the books, how he's been challenged. So there's been something happened and only he's aware of it and nobody else believes him. And it goes through the way he's pushing it back against everybody. And then eventually there's something that happens which really makes him, essentially it breaks him out, I would say, in that he starts to believe what the people are saying about him making it up, even though he knows he isn't, but he's just essentially broken by a couple of things that happen. It's now got to the stage where he's just been essentially had one of the other characters has told him that although she doesn't believe him, that he's not being himself, he's not being true to himself, and she's essentially pushed him, so he's now come back to where he's back more to himself. And I think this is what's going to kick off, I say, all the action. It's just been quite an interesting journey, and it's been very different to a lot of the other books. The journey here has been more of a personal thing for Richard, whereas in the other books it's been more like story development and things happening to other people. So that's been quite interesting. Let's go back to see if there's any more comments. What books are you reading? I think it's quite interesting to get an idea of what people are reading, what they're thinking of those books. Let me just refresh this. BJ, I've got the Coconut Sport as well, like it. Blame that one on Pens and Teas page. Yeah, she does have some pens that makes you want to go, oh, I want to get that. So sorry, got to have another drink. My tea's empty, so now we're into the R2D2 drink. Lime today. That's full of ice because although it's not as hot as it has been, it's 22 Celsius here now. Still going to be warm today, so I like to have my iced drink. I go through 2 of these a day. I have one in the morning, one in the afternoon. They're both a litre, so it helps with making sure I stay nice and hydrated. Yeah. Yeah, Pence and Tea, I quite like watching her page. Blonde Scales 1. I've got 1 extra fine preppy, 1 medium preppy, and all the rest are fine. Yeah, see, when I got them, I was into like the fines, but as I'm moving on, I find because I'm not into broads, but because it's black, I think a fine nib, or that Japanese medium is quite a good one. BJ, the Eco stub is solid. Yeah, this green one here, this has got a stub nib on it. Got the 1.1 stub. I say you'll see that in action this afternoon in the tournament. BJ, one of my favourites. Dia, hello, welcome to you. And we've got a couple of hellos. Blonde Scales 1, I do like my Ecos. I've got 3 Ecos. I've got this one. I've got a black one. And I've got a transparent orange one. And what have I got nib-wise? I think I've got a fine, an extra fine, and this 1.1. It's another one. I know they're coming out with new Ecos all the time. If one comes out that really grabs me, I would buy it. But it's not come out and really grab me. And I think if I was to get another one, I might go for a broad nib. Just so I've got a different nib size there, really. Jacob, the Ecos, they're nice. They're a brilliant workhorse pen. BJ, hell, it's worth buying one just for a bottle of silicone. The pen is a bonus. Absolutely. That's one of the nice things with a TWSBI. They come with everything you need to repair it. I wish things like Narwhal did that. Where it comes with every single thing. And certainly, what's the one that I have a pain in the butt with? Yeah, it's a Narwhal where the piston mechanism at the top often comes loose. And I've managed to work out, I've got something which will fix it, not exactly the right thing. Marie, do you have an easy way to translate Celsius to Fahrenheit? I do. I'm going to show you. Let me just go over here. Let me just go to a plane. You don't have to see my homepage. There we go. So let me go to the screen. So what I would say is 22C in F into Google. That I'm afraid that's how I just do it. I know there's some mathematical way, something about divide by 4 or some strange. I just Google it. I've always got access to Google. It's either on my computer, it's on my iPad, or through my phone. Refresh the comments. Are there any more? Let's go there. Blonde Scales 1, 3 Ecos, 3 Eco Teas. So far, yeah, this is a problem when you get started with these. They're so easy to buy other ones. It's like the 580. I like the 580. I've only got the one. But what I've done with the 580 is I bought some replacement nib units, so it's easy to change them. Tom usually puts shimmer inks into the Eco broads. Yeah, what I've got in here, this isn't a shimmer, it's a sheen. Again, you'll see it this afternoon. It's Diamine Black Ivy, which I'm not sure if it comes over. This is cheap paper, so it doesn't show up, but there we have Diamine Black Ivy. You can see the notes I've been making there. This one here, that's the ink in the Monteverde Ripmer. That's what I was saying. I don't like the ink, so I think I'm going to change that. Eco, dead simple to take apart. Let me just grab one. Here's my Taiwan box. This is the black one. I literally just pulled the first one. I love the fact, yeah, you've got a transparent body, but you've got transparent there section. And that's how easy it is to take it out. Then literally just pull out. Then let me line this up. It takes me longer to line up the nib and the feed than it does to do anything else. And then just slots back in. Dead easy to do. One of the easiest pens I've got for, actually swapping the nibs. Also for cleaning. So what I do is say, because like Tom, I often put shimmer inks into these. Just pull out that nib and feed. I clean out the body with my syringe, so I can get that cleaned out very easily. Nib and feed. I need to stop doing it with a nib because that will wash out easy. But the feed into the ultrasonic, give it a good deep clean. Just let me do another refresh. Tom Morley, there we go. I knew there was some mathematical way. Multiply by 9 fifths. It's multiply by 9, then multiply by 9, divide by 5, and add 32. That's it, Google. Google's your best friend, or if you don't like Google, DuckDuckGo, or one of the various other search engines. Blonde Scales 1, my balance has even taken over an eco box. It fits nicely in the pen area in the foam. Is that a Schaefer balance? Marie, for dummies like me, lol, Google is best. I do believe, I'm completely with you there, Marie. Google is the best friend in the entire universe for me. It gets used an awful lot. Welcome to Miss Marilyn Darling. I was just mentioning you earlier on. We were talking about calligraphy. Hello, everybody. Blonde Scales 1, hi. BJ, I just started using a TWSBI Go for testing inks. Neat and easy to clean. Same nibs as the Eco and affordable. I've never tried the Go yet. Doesn't really jump out at me. For not a lot more here, I can get the another Eco. I say it's more now the looks. Miss Marilyn Darling, hi. Simply Orbs. The same we were just talking about her. Hi to Miss Marilyn. Love the swipe for its hand disassemblability. You know, I can't talk today. Can't do words. Let me try and get this mic around a bit better. Yeah, that's the latest one. I don't know what it is. It's just about that hasn't grabbed me. Dia, again, with hints on how to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Hi to BJ. BJ, the Swipe, the Eco and Go, all swappable nibs. Yeah, and I think the nibs, from memory, they're made by Yoho for them. Blonde Scales 1, yes, my vintage Schaefer balance. Let's refresh that. So that's all the comments. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. We've gone, an hour and 10 minutes. We're getting a little bit better. I keep getting told off because I go for too long. Apparently, I talk too much, according to my wife. Don't know how she can say such a thing. I don't talk that much. Another quick comment check. Also like the Swipe because it's got a round grip section and not a force to come section. Yeah, I think, to me, one of the downsides with the Ecos, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, that section is a bit thin. I do find my fingers squash up against each other, especially having, a little bit larger hands. So no more new comments. So I say thank you all. Next week we'll be announcing the winner of tournament number 3. Blonde Scales 1, we like long chats. Yeah, I love doing these. I really do. I mean, when I first started doing these, I said to my wife, I said, I'll do a live. I said, I bet it'll be no more than 10 minutes. Wasn't I naive then? So anyway, thank you all. I keep saying this. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Please continue. Whilst the outro is playing, the chat will be open. After the video is finished, comments will be open, so you can always add a comment down into the comment section. I love getting comments. I read every single comment that I can. You'll know when I've read it because, I usually put the thumbs up on the thing. Then I'll either reply or I'll reply with a thumbs up emoji, just so you know I've read it. Membership is available. Please, if you're able to and can afford membership, have a look at that. I'm still working on, I want to do a members only live, just trying to work on how I can make it different from these, because at the end of the day, if it's the same as this, it's a waste of time. It wants to be something different. So I'm trying to work on formats. So if you're a member, or if you're interested in membership, why not drop what sort of format would you like me to do a members only live, because I'd like to try that. So thank you all for your time. I'll do one last check of the comments. We've got Pen saying, go and swipe are super easy to clean. Blonde Scales 1, have a great week all. Simply, Orb's wife always says her spouse talks too much. Yeah. Tom Morley, thank you. BJ, health and happiness to all. Ricardo, have a nice week. Simply Orbs, thanks for a great show. Cheers to you. Thank you all, and I'll talk to you again soon.